Welcome back. Your man Diamond K in here, of course. The Diamond K Show, thediamondkshow.com, onfirebroadcasting.com. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope that you are doing well. A lot of things that we have to get into today. Man, before we get started, I hate when groups break up. I hate when folks fall apart and friendships get tested. And I saw something online, Jim Jones and Cameron and Mace and all that. It was very interesting to see. Hopefully they'll be able to work those things out. So we have a lot to get into. We have a jam-packed show today. So much to dive into. The fires that are happening in LA, really bad. And many of you have seen the photos, you've seen the video, you've seen all of that kind of stuff. We're going to do some fact checking on some of the criticism that Democrats are getting in California from the way that the fires are being handled and all that kind of stuff. So we have a lot of things to unpack. So the fires are still burning in Los Angeles, several days after some have been accusing politicians of mismanaging resources, making the fires worse, all that kind of stuff. President-elect Donald Trump, no surprise here, has pointed the finger at California Governor Gavin Newsom. Of course, conservatives are ignoring the facts of climate change and the part that climate change can play in this whole thing. You got the climate denying right-wingers, climate denying conservatives. They say that the fires are bad because of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. California is woke, and that's why the fires are bad. It's nonsense. A lack of water for fighters' hoses has been cited as one of the reasons the fires have burned so long. There's a lot at play here. Others have tried to blame LA Mayor Karen Bass for cutting the city's fire department budget. That's what they're saying. She's cut the fire department budget, and that's why. So we're going to take a look at some of the facts behind the political fallout of these LA fires. So in a social media post over the weekend, Trump blamed California leaders for the current situation. He said that the fires are still raging in LA. The incompetent politicians have no idea how to put them out. Thousands of magnificent houses are gone and many more will soon be lost, he wrote on his social network. They just can't put the fires out. What's wrong with them? Anyone who's seen the videos of some of these fire locations, the way that the wind has been blowing and spreading it, the specific declaration he mentions does not appear to exist. And there is a lot. Earlier this week, the governor, Gavin Newsom, was criticized by Trump for refusing to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water to put out the fires. And as I said, we have not been able to find this declaration. The one he's mentioning does not appear to exist. But we've searched for it. We've been unable to find it. No one's been able to find it. It's just something that Donald Trump has just thrown out in the atmosphere. And now this includes a 2020 presidential memorandum that Trump sought to divert water away from Northern California to farmland further south. You have that. So we have evacuation alerts sending millions of folks away from their homes. The LA fire damage, this wildfire damage is set to cost a record $135 billion. Now, of course, that number could go up. So dealing with that. Now, Newsom opposed this at the time, saying that he wanted to protect highly perilled fish species close to extinction. Now, this is what Trump is referencing in his post blaming Gavin Newsom for the response to the wildfires. So he's referencing this specific 2020 presidential memorandum that was sought to get water away from Northern California to farmland, which is further south. South is where this devastation is currently taking place. So Newsom is being blamed by Trump. They're making this a political thing. Unfortunately, we have a lot of lives, a lot of damaged property, a lot of families affected by all of this. And as usual, politicians are going to do the political thing and make this all political. Definitely shout out to our folks on Instagram. Shout out to our folks on YouTube. It's a YouTube camera there, Facebook as well. And our folks on X, shout out to them. Now, our folks on TikTok, this is our TikTok camera on this side. I don't know if this is our last week or so on TikTok. Is this our last? Are we on the home stretch? Last 7 days on TikTok? I don't know. Hopefully we will be able to be on there longer. Hopefully those things will be worked out. We're going to see. But we're going to be streaming on TikTok as long as we can. So in an interview with Pod Save America over the weekend, Gavin Newsom said that Trump's statements were made up and delusional. So they're going back and forth, and there has been the buzz that Gavin Newsom is going to run for president in the next election, 2028. We'll see what happens there. California's Attorney General ultimately blocked the measure to redirect water to the south, citing potential harm to endangered species and saying that it was not scientifically justified. So you have that, and there's just all this talk. We're spending this time talking about water because there have been all these accusations thrown by right-wingers. Of course, whenever there's a natural disaster, there's some kind of a terrible incident that happens, you have folks on the right that are going to say, oh, this is because of DEI. This is because y'all woke. And they're just going to say that. And for the most part, Democrats don't defend themselves. They just sit there and take the misinformation and they just, I don't know, will just absorb it. But it still keeps happening nonetheless. So the federal government does not deliver water from Northern California to Southern California, according to Jeffrey Mount, a senior fellow at the Public Policy Institute of California's Water Policy Center. The federal government does not deliver water from Northern California to Southern California. Now, while efforts to save Delta smelt along with salmon and steelhead trout do reduce the amount of water that is moved from Northern California by the state at certain times, it has no bearing on the current availability of water for firefighting. Let me say that again. The water that they are moving to save some of the fish at certain times from Northern California is not the same water source that they're using for firefighting. All right, so let's get that part out of the way. Now, although Southern California is currently experiencing a drought, according to Tony, it never rains in Southern California. And so they're currently experiencing this drought. Data shows its reservoirs are almost all currently above the historic average for this time of year. None are at significantly low levels. So you have that. Now, there is one large reservoir that was closed for maintenance and empty when the fire broke out, and I think that some folks are pointing to that. So officials from the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, DWP, WP, said that the reservoir in question has been operational, or had it been operational, it might have increased the supply of water. It definitely would have increased the supply of water. That goes without saying. That is the Santa Ynez reservoir. So if it had been operational, the water in there obviously would have been able to help this effort, but it is unclear what the ultimate effect might have been. We still would have seen what we are currently seeing. Now, there's been another claim that there is no water for the fire hydrants. And on Friday, Governor Newsom, confirmed Trump's claim that there had been no water for some fire hydrants, which obviously hampered the emergency response. Firefighters in Los Angeles have said that they experienced shortages. Newsom called for an independent investigation into the loss of water pressure to hydrants and the reportedly unavailable water supply from this reservoir. We talked about the Santa Ynez reservoir. If Gavin Newsom wants to run for president, this situation is something that they are going to hang around his neck. This is something they're going to put on his shoulders. They're going to put it on his plate. It's going to always come up. And different from Democrats currently, the Republicans are going to be relentless on this. And it's not his fault per se. He can't control nature, but they're gonna throw this on him. And in a letter addressed to the heads of the LA Department of Water and Power and LA County Public Works, Newsom said that reports of inadequate water supplies were deeply troubling. So you have that. We need to get answers as to what happened. The blame game is going to come around, and at the end of the day, unless you're Donald Trump, the person in charge, that's where the buck stops. Of course, with Donald Trump, the buck doesn't stop with Donald Trump. The MAGA folks are not going to let that happen. Now, folks within the Los Angeles Fire Department confirmed that their crews and others have been battling wildfires at the same time running out of water, and this has forced them to improvise. So it's definitely some situations here. And the LA mayor, according to reports, cut the fire department budget. Karen Bass facing a lot of criticism over cuts to the city's fire department budget. Now, of course, politicians are going to do political things. For the latest financial year, the LA Fire Department, the LAFD budget was reduced by $17.6 million. The LA Fire Chief, Kristen Crowley, told CNN that the budget cut had severely affected the department's ability to respond to the disaster. Naturally, if you're cutting resources, that is going to affect things. This is something that Mayor Bass is going to have to respond to. There's been a lot of criticisms, and she said that there were no reductions that were made that would have impacted the situation that we're dealing with over the last couple of days. Now, this is a politician's answer. If the budget was in fact reduced by $17.6 million, how could she say that those reductions, that were made, would not have impacted these fires? I don't understand how she could say that. But according to the LA Times, after the 2024-2025 budget was passed, the city council approved $53 million in pay raises for firefighters and $58 million for a new kit, such as fire trucks, right? And so if you have that raise happening, that's cool, right? That's good and all that. Is that going to help in the situation that we are dealing with the devastation of these fires in LA? So that is interesting. So once that funding is taken into account, the fire department's operational budget technically grew, right? The operation budget technically grew, and so her answer to the criticism that folks would say, you reduce the budget, and see, they play a lot of games, right? So they say they reduced the financial budget, but on the same time, they approve another budget which has pay raises for firefighters, which doesn't actually put more boots on the ground, so to speak, but does give them a raise and does give them new fire trucks, etc. So that is what she's saying. She's saying, yes, on one hand, we reduced, in other ways, we increased, and that wasn't going to affect anything. So the fire department has an overall budget approaching $1 billion, and it isn't the only department there. That's not the only department that is responding to the fires. So the mayor is saying that we've moved some money around. We've got some increases in raises for folks. We've got them some new equipment, and they have an operating budget of close to $1 billion. We have firefighters coming from across the continent to help. And, the example given is that the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection and the Los Angeles County Fire Department are part of relief efforts. There are folks from the federal government that are part of the relief efforts. There have been folks coming from all over to help out. So that's just some of the fact checking that I wanted to do with regards to this terrible situation. But when you have a city like Los Angeles, which is not new to this is a threat every year. Initially, I did not pay as much attention to this topic as probably was necessary, because we see the wildfires every year. So I'm on the East Coast, and I see these fires happen every year, right? And so there's a period where they burn and then they go down. But I had never seen anything like this, and I remember talking to my mother about it, and I think she was kind of taken aback with initially my attitude about these wildfires. This is early on, and but as I started to pay more attention, I saw how serious this is. Now, a city like Los Angeles, America's most fire-ready city, actually became overwhelmed by the flames of these California fires. This is a serious. Now, the biggest of several wildfires is still burning out of control in Los Angeles, and it has grown. It has grown. So more than 1,000 acres have burned overnight. At least 319,000 people are now under evacuation orders or evacuating in warning areas as the firefight continues. Questions have continued to mount about whether Los Angeles was adequately prepared for this fire event that has been going on. And so we're going to continue to follow this story. But from everything that I'm seeing, no amount of resources would have helped. You hear this a lot about the fire zones where the fire hydrants have gone dry and all of that. But if you have seen the force, the hurricane force of the Santa Ana winds in the LA basin, you would understand that it's blowing these fires. No amount of fire hydrants would have been able to stop this. This is one of those things. And there could be 7,000 firefighters out there, and that still wouldn't be enough. But the political finger pointing is going on, and is going to be going on for a while. So you're hearing folks talk about budget cuts. You're hearing folks talking about training and disaster preparedness and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, this is going to come down to hopefully whenever these winds, so they're facing these winds that are coming today and probably up until about Wednesday. LA is a city built out into flammable wildlands. That's what I was talking about. This is something that they deal with every year. So there are houses that are built or were built in areas where they should not have been. And so we're talking about from the famous coast to the rugged, densely populated canyons with one-way in, one-way out roads, that kind of stuff. Mountains as high as 10,000 feet. In those areas, something like this, a disaster like this, is really something that the Los Angeles Fire Department has been fearing. I'm gonna assume this past weekend has really tested the best. So you have embers flying miles apart, fire ignition, which is extremely difficult to predict. They can't predict it. Now, climate change and wooden home making makes the situation worse. And that is what they are dealing with. So definitely going to continue to follow this story as LA officials are warning of a new round of wildfire danger with these strong winds that we've been talking about, these Santa Ana winds and all that. So we're going to continue to follow that story. And we're going to do this. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back. We have a guest that's going to be joining us momentarily. And we're going to get all in her business. We're going to be back right after this. You listen to the Diamond K Show here at onfirebroadcasting.com. Welcome back. Your man Diamond K in here, of course, the Diamond K Show. And we've been talking about these fires in LA, but I do want to shift gears for a moment and get into something a little bit more pleasant. How are you doing?
Good evening, Dwayne. How are you?
I am wonderful. So we've been talking about these fires and all that kind of stuff, but I wanted to have a better conversation. Please introduce yourself and tell folks who you are.
All right. So good evening, everyone. So my name is Shantae Brookshire. And I know Dwayne from working at HCAM. We work together, very closely together. But today I want to give a little background of who I am and just some different things that's going on in my life. And so I want to thank Dwayne for giving me this platform to just express myself as well as sharing some valuable information. So again, my name is Shantae Brookshire. I was born and raised in Baltimore City. My original neighborhood was Park Heights, and then I moved down to Sandtown, Winchester, and now I'm currently in.
And we was talking. I thought we were talking about the fires, and then you talk about moving from the frying pan into the fire. So you went from Park Heights. You went from Park Heights to Sandtown, Winchester. I'm just messing. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, it's funny because it was. The reason why I had moved from my Park Heights is because at the time when I was married, me and my ex-husband had moved down towards Sandtown, Winchester. Mm-hmm. And now that I am on my own now, we are divorced, I am actually living in Catonsville.
Okay.
So it's very different out here, very peaceful. I like it.
Now you turn into a county girl. Okay, that's about
No.
If you're living in Catonsville,
actually, it's not. I wouldn't consider it the county because it's literally right there on Frederick Avenue. So like,
okay, all right, no, it's still a little hood right there. It's still a little hood right there. Okay.
Okay, everybody say it's a little hood right there. So
what do you like better? So like, if somebody says where you from, what do you say?
Park Heights.
Okay, you say from Park Heights. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Like that, I'm not gonna lie. Tell somebody I'm not from Park Heights. Like, okay. No, I claim that. Yes.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. That's good. I was in Atlanta. Second time I went to Atlanta. My third grade year, we lived in Atlanta. My third grade year, and then I went back as an adult, doing parties and stuff. And I was a little bit nervous at the party, and I played a couple of records I probably should not have played, like some local Baltimore records, but I played them in Atlanta, and so. As I just kind of went into like a normal set, they're like, wait a minute, like, and they weren't really responding the way I was used to, right? And jokingly, I said, like, where Park Heights at? Like on the mic, I was just messing around, and there's like three people in the corner. Was like, oh, it was very funny. It was just very. it helped me get through the party because I'm like, man, somebody from Park Heights everywhere. And
We everywhere.
you claim in Park Heights, and so let's talk business. Let's talk. So you are a businesswoman, you're an entrepreneur, and let's talk about your business.
Sure. So I had two different businesses. The first one I'm going to talk about is one that I started in 2017, which is pretty well. When I first started, it was just strictly waist beads. But the business is called Bead Creations by Shantae Fierce. And so that came about because in 2017, I took a trip to Ghana. And I was very interested in what the women was wearing around their waist. I knew about waist beads before I went over to Ghana, but I got a more deep history and understanding of it when I was over there. And so I was talking to an elder. Many people may know her. Her name is Dr. Cambage. She is really highly respected in the African culture, in the African community. And she actually explained the importance of waist beads to me. No one really took me aside to do that, but she explained it to me. So when I came back from Africa and came back to Baltimore, I was like, you know what? I want to start making some waist beads. And so I had looked up, Googled some stuff on how to make them. But then I was like, no, I want something authentic. So I actually get my waist beads imported from Ghana. So
hold on, one second. So you said that she explained to you the importance of waist beads. Okay, I never heard this conversation before.
Really?
No, I didn't know the importance of waist beads. I just remember, spending time with ladies, and it just all of a sudden it just came. When I was young, I don't remember seeing them, but got old, I started seeing these beads. Like, what is it? I thought maybe it's part of their clothes, and a couple of times I done popped them. I was like, oh man,
no!
What is the purpose of these beads? Like, what is going on?
When it first came up, like a lot of people was just wearing it for fashion. They just want to show their beads off. But a lot is different reasons why you wear them. So many women wear them to monitor their weight loss and weight gain, or inches lost and inches gained. And so, no, they don't make you lose weight. They monitor the weight you drop or the inches you drop. They monitor that. So like, let's just say, for example, somebody come get some waist beads put on for me. If they are eating properly and exercising, then the waist beads eventually will drop because they are dropping inches, they're dropping weight. However, if you're one of those people, you cannot eat 5 wings and French fries every day and trying to monitor, it's not going to work. Eventually your beads are going to pop because, So that's one of the reasons why people wear them. But then you also have a spiritual component to it as well. And so you're really not supposed to share or show your waist beads unless you're with your significant other. So it's different reasons. It actually represents womanhood. I don't really want to take a lot of time, but it really goes back to African culture. In the earliest part of African culture about waist beads. So it's very intense.
I had no idea. I like you said, I initially thought it was just something that was for fashion.
You can wear them for fashion.
It seems like it's a lot deeper than that.
It's a lot deeper. And so I'll even use this statement too. It transfers energy. So whoever's putting your waist beads on, they can't be a negative person. Like their energy cannot be off. Because as women, we wear all our emotions are in our center. So if someone is placing beads on you and their energy is negative, it's going to transfer right to you. And so you have to be very careful who you get your waist beads from.
Okay, so you actually have to put the beads on them, and it's custom
right. So they have different types of waist beads. So they have the elastic ones, which I don't really recommend, but they have also the cotton strand. So they are on a string. So the only way they come off, unless they are getting popped off, as you stated a couple of minutes ago. Right.
My bad. I didn't know.
So like that's the only way they will come off. Or like if you lose like a lot of weight, of course they're going to drop.
Okay.
So so I started that, and then it was just strictly waist beads, and then I started making all types of crazy stuff. Lingerie, beaded lingerie. I started making bracelets for women and anklets for women. Then I started making bracelets for men because they felt a little left out. They said, well, you make stuff for the women, you make stuff for the girls, but what about the men? And so that's why it's turned into Bead Creations by Shantae Fierce, because originally it was just waist beads, but now it's everything beaded.
So that is good. And so you wear beads yourself?
Yes, I have. Yes, I wear waist beads. They don't come off.
Wow, that's interesting. I had no idea about that. Okay, so and then I guess it can really be so it's sort of like those jeans that you used to be able to fit and then you can't fit them and then later
Right.
on jeans well, I can fit these jeans again. So it's kind of like chronicling your journey like that. So that's cool. So what about when they start losing weight, right?
Mhm.
And now they need those beads adjusted a little bit. Is that a thing too?
Yes, that is a thing.
Okay.
And when people lose weight and lose inches, and they can actually happen simultaneously. It's not one over the other. They can lose weight in inches at the same time.
Okay.
And so when those beads become very loose, they'll call me and then I have to adjust them. So what it is, I'll cut the string and then take the excessive beads off and then I'll retie it back to what their shape is at that time.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably a good thing.
It is.
They feeling good about that. Yeah, they feeling good about that. And so this process of creating the beads for them, is this a long process? Like how long? Like if the lady reaches out to you, like what is the timeline like?
It does not take long. I've been doing this since 2017. So we're in 2025 now. So it does not take long. A person will go on my website, place a bead order. They can either get them shipped to them or they can make a request for them to come to my home, or I can go to their home and put them on. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes to put them on. Pretty much I'll tie them on, I'll cut the excessive strings off, and then I'll burn the knot so that it can stay in place.
Yeah, I was wondering that part, like how it was all kept together, if you will. Like,
it takes no time at all. It's really a short process. Now, if you're an individual that wants to get about 10 or 15 beads on, well, 10 or 15 strands of waist beads on, yeah, we're gonna be here for a little bit because I have to tie them on and I don't rush. So I try to make sure that it fits your body. So it may take a little bit if you're getting a whole lot of waist beads, but if you're only getting like 2 or 3 or even 4, you'll be done in like 5 minutes, maybe 10.
So that's the thing people do, just a little bit.
Yeah, like people wear waist beads.
Okay, it's just this is just this is different. This is different for me, so I have it. This is new to me. All right, and so folks can go to. This is your site here, and so folks can go and order and all that good stuff. And so Bead Creations by Shantae Fierce.
Yes.
All right, that is good. That is good. And so yeah, so this is interesting. So did they gotta like just pull their shirt up? I guess that's all they gotta do.
Yes, they do. Well, it depends. Some of my clientele, and this is the thing, is not for petite women only. Okay. It's women that are like fluffy. And honestly, I like my fluffy women. I like all women, but I like my fluffy women because their confidence is at 1,000. So they come in and ready to rock and roll. Their shirt is up, their pants are down.
Right. That is, I don't get to say this too often, but that is exactly how the fellas like it the boat, shirt up. What did you say? You said shirt up.
And the shirt up and the pants would be down. Just shirt
up, pants down. Yes.
Absolutely. No, not all the way down.
Just a little down. You said it.
No, don't be out here trying to misrepresent.
No, well, you said it. You got it on tape.
Like, Shantae got, they naked over there.
I'm gonna use that. Shirt up, pants down, just a little bit. Just a little bit. No, but that's good. That's good. And so, like you said, women of all sizes. Nobody needs to feel no kind of way.
No.
Everybody is welcome and represented. And then so you have colors that mean different things, and that is cool. I didn't know about that either. See, guys, we the last to know stuff. Nobody tells us nothing.
No, actually, y'all not the last to know stuff. I think sometimes y'all have your own illusion on what they are, but as women, there are different reasons to wear them. Okay,
and so that's good. And so these are examples of different types, and that is good. Okay, so she has shirt up, pants.
That is my daughter.
Okay, this is crazy. I'm gonna leave that alone then. All right. Thanks for cutting me off before I do too much.
That's why I was like, that is my daughter. Watch it.
But she just, I don't see a shirt there though. But I do have my glasses on. Yeah, but that's good. So the website is shantayfierce.com.
Yep.
And so has this been something that is it therapeutic to help people in this kind of way? Actually,
it boosts your confidence. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, it really boosts your self-esteem, and it really brings out the woman in you. The purpose of why it's Be Creations by Shantay Fierce. Fierce is pretty much, you need to own the room. You need to own your body. You need to own what you look like. So don't allow stretch marks or anything that has happened to you determine that you can't get waist beads.
Yeah.
So it's really to bring, part of that is to bring that sexy back, to bring that womanhood out of you. Like, we, as women, we be so closed off and so insecure and so self-conscious of our body. That actually helps boost your confidence up. So that's why I really push this. It does have a spiritual meaning to it as well, and I'm not going to use this platform to discuss that, but there are many different reasons behind it. So it's really important that the biggest thing I tell people is to get educated. And, you know, everybody's not my customer, Dwayne, but I just tell people, whoever you're getting your beats from, whether they're from me or someone else, just make sure their energy is intact. Make sure they are like vibrant and positive, because what you don't want is to transfer somebody else's negative energy to you.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And I think that is a great thing. And as the website says, this is the go-to destination for exquisite weight beads. And this is Park Heights' finest. Okay, so entrepreneurship is all over you. So we have this, and what else we got?
So we got my second business that I just launched in 2023.
Okay.
And it's actually a consulting firm. And so I switched gears a little bit. I've been doing this public health work for almost about 10 years now. And I've worked in nonprofit organizations as well as state level organizations. And one of the things that I noticed, with especially grassroots organizations, is that they don't have the capacity to do data collection effectively. And they don't have really people in place that can really take the time to pick apart programs and evaluate them so they can be more efficient for the community. And so I took a step back and I was like, you know what? It's time for me to launch something else, something that pertains to my degrees as well as obtains to my background and work. So I am a Morgan State University alumni. I received my master's in public health from Morgan, as well as my bachelor's of science from Morgan. And one of the goals is for me to give back to the community. So I think that when I wanted to launch this consulting firm, it's really a thing of giving back. Of course, you got to pay me, but I want to give back to nonprofits and grassroots organizations so they can get better acquainted to make sure that whatever programs they have sustainable funding in the future. And a lot of people don't know the importance of data collection is that you need at least about 2 years of data collection before you can go up for a funding grant, any type of grant. A lot of people don't know that. And then you have people that have all this data and don't really know what to do with it. So that's when I come in as a consultant. And I will show you and tell you what to do with your data and how you will analyze it and how you can use that as a platform to apply for different funding sources.
Yeah, so that is very useful. And like you said, a lot of companies, startups don't know that you need that.
Yeah.
And so how can folks find out more about that service?
So I don't have a website. I'm going to send you this flyer. You probably can't see it. But
okay. Yeah.
I'm going to send it to you. Yep, the purple. You know what the purple means? Royalty.
Yes. Send me that, and I
will send you that, and that will have my contact information and my email address as well. And for those that do want to know, that this is actually an LLC. So it's SCBJ Public Health Solutions. So I am legit.
Right.
So
don't y'all get it twisted.
Right, I'm legit.
No, that's good. That is good. And so this is touching all aspects of you yourself. So you have something that you got after a trip, and look more into that, and then obviously your field of study, and so that's everything coming together. So that is wonderful. That is wonderful. And so again, how can folks get in touch with you to get the waist beads?
So my website is the best way. I do have Instagram. I have Facebook too. So the waist bead, our website is www.shantayfears.com, and I will send this to Dwayne, so he could probably place it on his website. On his channel. Mm-hmm. But that's the best way.
Website too. Yeah.
I also have a Facebook page. It's Shantay Brookshire, and then I also have an Instagram account that is Shantay Fears 19. So Shantay_Fears 19.
Okay.
And then I'll send you this flyer.
Yes, absolutely. So tell me that. So why not put the consulting links on the one side? Actually,
I am thinking about that. I'm working with my IT person.
Yeah.
We have had that conversation. Actually, we had that conversation last year, probably around like December 30th. And we were having a conversation. I said, it'll be really dope if I can bridge the websites together.
Because it's a brand. It's
a brand. Right.
And so my suggestion is to put that on your site. And this is one thing. So it's just like if you have, let's use Amazon for instance. And so they have all these different fields that they're into. Mm-hmm. You can get it all at Amazon, and then it will take you wherever you need to go from the main site. But that's what I think. It's always frustrating to me. Like when I would go to events and folks would have multiple businesses and they give me multiple cards.
Yeah.
This is my card for this is my card for that. I think that if you can just combine everything, even if they're in different fields. Folks and businesses, they have portfolios with all different types of businesses, and so the combining of things, especially now, is not frowned upon at all. It's not.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about adding the consultant firm to the website because, like I said, and as you stated too, there are ways that you can just work around, and it can take you to another site. And my portfolio is actually about to be completed, so that will be made publicly. So people can get to see the different work that I do, because I get it. Ain't nobody trying to give me no money, and they don't know what I'm doing. Like,
right? Well, they need to know.
They need to see the product.
They need to see the work. All right.
Shout
out to Mark Heights. Oh, they
not kicking out no dollars.
Right? No, absolutely not. So I am super glad that you stopped through and talk. See, you thought I was gonna have a bad conversation with you?
I thought I was like, I don't know what. I had to drink my conversation because I didn't know what this conversation was gonna be like tonight. And I was like, I ain't for Dwayne mess.
Yes. No, it's all good. I definitely don't make this the last time that you stop through.
I will not.
You are always welcome here, and all of that. So. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I appreciate you, Dwayne. You always look out. I definitely appreciate it. And like I said, I'll send you all this information and you can share it on your platform. And hopefully I can get some people to reach out.
Absolutely. And so definitely. And like I said, do not make this the last time that you stop through. Yeah, I can be like a bit off and wild and crazy. That is true. Mm-hmm. But I definitely understand the importance of business, and I ain't gonna throw you under the bus. I'll throw a lot of people under the bus, though. I ain't gonna throw you under the bus.
No, don't look, because I'll come look for you. So
I know, yeah, I know. You know how to find me, so it's not.
I know exactly where to find you.
All right, thank you so much.
You have a good night.
You as well. Now, see, now I'm going to throw Donald Trump under the bus, actually.
Oh yeah, let me hit it one out. All right.
Yeah, so, all right. All right. That was Shantay, and so definitely make sure that y'all hit her up and follow what she has going on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back, and I want to talk about this massive reversal. Yes, it shouldn't be any surprise to y'all. But Trump is now backpedaling on a campaign promise that he made. Now all of a sudden he got something else to say about it. And we're going to talk about that right after this. Welcome back. Your man Diamond K in here, of course, the Diamond K Show. And in a massive reversal, no surprise here, Donald Trump backpedaling on a key campaign promise, and this is related to the timeline for ending the Russia-Ukraine war. If you remember, during the whole election process, he was talking about how he could end it in one day, and before he even got in office, he would end it, or you know what I mean? You remember he was saying all that kind of stuff. And now critics are putting the president-elect on blast after a key advisor appears to back away from this major campaign promise. Trump has backed away from this campaign promise. But like I said, he repeatedly claimed that he would end the war between Russia and Ukraine within 24 hours of taking office, if not sooner. Y'all remember that. Now, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who Trump has tapped to serve as the special envoy to the two nations, told Fox News it would take longer. Of course it would take longer, but I'm just saying, this is one of the many lies that he told would-be voters. And so the comments that Trump has made, support this, echoing that he's trying to change the timeline and all that kind of stuff. Now they're saying, let's set it at 100 days and move all the way back and figure a way we can do this in a time. They just say anything and just let Trump get away with it. Russian President Vladimir Putin launched the invasion into Ukraine in February of 2022, kicking off this costly and brutal campaign. The Pentagon last year estimated that more than 600,000 Russian soldiers had been killed or wounded in this conflict. And Ukraine said last month that 43,000 of its soldiers had been killed, and another 370,000 have been wounded. So that is a lot of bloodshed. This now 100-day timeline is a far cry from Trump's repeated vow to end the war much quicker. He said, I would fix that within 24 hours if I win. Before I get in office, I will have that war settled. 100% sure, Trump said. Of course, that was foolishness. And it should be no surprise. But this is a massive reversal from his campaign promises. No surprise there. So I'll tell you what was a surprise. Last week, I see this video, I see images, you're seeing it on the screen, and that is of, I guess, new besties, Barack Obama and Donald Trump. They look unsettlingly, it's uncomfortable to watch. They are just unsettlingly friendly, right? This is uncomfortable. This was at Jimmy Carter's, former President Jimmy Carter's state funeral. Now, Michelle Obama skipped the funeral. She did not want to be seated next to Donald Trump. She would have been seated next to Donald Trump. They had the presidents sitting in the order that they were elected. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Kind of crazy. And so Michelle Obama skipped the funeral. She did not want to be seated next to Donald Trump. Everybody was looking for her. But a lot of folks are saying different things. So you have these two former presidents, and from everything that I've heard them say about each other, they should not be this chummy. This is like rappers who talk about each other on records, and then they get at the award show and they all chopping it up. President Obama just got through telling us how much of a threat Donald Trump is. How much of a disaster he would be for the country. And I agree. But then we see him chopping it up with Trump on the other hand. Like, what is going on? What is going on? And so this is one of the many reasons why Democrats have so much work to do. Now, I understand that this funeral is a rare joint appearance of the 5 living presidents, including Obama, Trump, Clinton, George W. Bush, President Biden. In many instances, they're joined by their spouses. Melania Trump was there. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was there. Former First Lady Laura Bush. First Lady Jill Biden. As we said, no Michelle Obama. Vice President Kamala Harris and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff. As well as former Vice President Mike Pence and former First Lady Karen Pence. All in the place. The event brought together these prominent leaders from the past and present. A lot of other folks from all branches of the government were present. Now, of course, you want to be professional, right? I understand the need for professionalism, right? President Obama is a professional guy. He's a stand-up guy. There is a way that he could have conducted himself where he did not allow himself to be filmed shucking and jiving, laughing and joking and pointing with Donald Trump. It gives Trump supporters fuel. Right? They just all lying, right? All politicians, they just saying stuff, and behind the scenes, they part of this small club and they all together. And Trump is even coming out saying, Obama, he's down with us. We cool. Like we pretty cool. It undermines the whole message that Democrats had been saying about Trump for years. President Obama was one of the biggest campaigners for Hillary Clinton and for Kamala Harris. And now I'm sure that the ladies looking at Obama and Trump chopping it up, they looking like this. Look at this nigga. Like, it's crazy. That looks crazy to me. Let's keep in mind, why are all these men, these politicians, scared of Donald Trump? Ted Cruz, he called your wife ugly. Now, she ain't all that cute, but I'm just saying, he called your wife ugly. And that didn't matter to him. President Obama, the MAGA supporters have talked about Michelle Obama crazy. They have talked about her like she's a man. All this kind of stuff they said. They say nasty things about President Obama. And for him to sit there and just be smiling and laughing, we could sit Drake and Kendrick Lamar next to each other at an award show and they ain't gonna be doing this. And I just think that y'all have said much worse things about each other. And some people saying they're at a funeral, like, easy, calm down, it's just a funeral. Why are you making a big deal about it? This is how they're supposed to act. Like, no. Like, there's a way you can be professional. I ain't saying that Obama should go upside his head or nothing. I'm just saying that all of the rhetoric against the case for voting for Donald Trump, which was true, doesn't look that official with the way that one of the primary opponents, so we thought, of Donald Trump is sitting there laughing like this. That's all I'm saying. Would you be sitting like this next to somebody, they talked about your mother, claim that you know, and let's talk about the things that Trump has said about Obama himself. No? Definitely. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok for now. Blue Sky, Threads, at The Diamond K Show. I need to know. I need to know how y'all feel about this, because I'm looking at Obama like sideways. This is looking crazy to me. Now, there was a poll. Pause. There was a poll this year, January 2025, and Marylanders were asked if they approved or disapproved of the job that Maryland Governor Wes Moore has been doing. And so it has been good. You know, the poll results were pretty good as far as this Gonzalez poll. Governor Wes Moore has a statewide job approval of 61%. And I think that is pretty good. Let's look at this breakdown a little bit. 29% strongly approve of the job he's doing. 32% somewhat approve of the job he's doing. Among the 28% who disapprove of the job he's doing, 16% strongly disapprove and 12% somewhat disapprove. Governor Moore also won a poll about who Marylanders would vote for governor if the 2026 election were held today, with 52%, while the former Governor Larry Hogan had 38%. Marylanders also shared their opinion on the forecast deficit the state will be facing next year. The poll asked about increasingly different kinds of taxes to help deal with the deficit. The respondents were opposed to raising taxes overall, as the poll asked a question in regard to property sales and income taxes. Raising the property taxes had the largest opposition, with 70% of Marylanders being against that tax. The number is slightly lower for raising income tax, with 76% opposition, and increasing the sales tax had the lowest opposition at 73%. According to the poll, the majority of voters who strongly approve of the job Moore is doing are against raising taxes to help with the deficit. Among those voters, 71% were against raising property taxes, 62% were against raising sales tax, and 76% were against raising the income tax. So, I thought it was interesting. I thought that was interesting, and something that we need to, definitely talk about on the show. So this time of year, I love this time of year for many, many reasons. Some takeaways after the wild card weekend that I don't know. It was a lot of good things. We talk about some of those takeaways. First and foremost, I love the games not all competing with one another. Able to really watch a game and just kind of pay attention to it, focus on it. And we saw a few great things. The opening round of the NFL playoffs is usually some of the best football that we're going to see. The Baltimore Ravens smashed the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know. I felt like the Steelers were phoning it in. Like, is Russ a bust? Is Russell Wilson, is he cooking? Like, who knows? But we got the Steelers out of there, and that was a good thing. Get those Steelers out of there. Anyway, we bullied them, right? We rocked them Bamas. The Ravens, I predict, are going to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, I don't know. I think we're going to have a deep playoff run. We smashed the Steelers 28-14 here in Baltimore. They couldn't stop the run. It was, and this is a rival game. This is usually a great game. Henry ran for 186 yards, 26 tough carries, punishing the Steelers. Lamar Jackson was electric as usual. Rushed 15 times for 81 yards, also completing 16 of 21 passes for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was rowdy. It was cold, but it was rowdy in the M&T Bank Stadium here. There were chants for MVP. I don't know about that. We're going to see what happens with that as we get to next week. And let's talk about some of these other games. I'm not going to say that there were a lot of surprises per se. There was an upset. Jaden Daniels outdueled Baker Mayfield in what was probably the best game of the weekend. Washington Commanders have found themselves in a good place. For the first time in 20 years, they are going to the next round in the playoffs. I thought Baker Mayfield did good. If he didn't fumble that ball near the end, they would have won the game, I think. But Daniels, he's been doing his thing. He is a former LSU Tiger, and he did his thing. He did his thing. There was a late turnover, and ultimately, you see the Commanders, the Commanders winning the game. And Baker Mayfield, as I said, fumbled this snap, and that turnover led to a Daniels touchdown pass to wide receiver Terry to go up 2017. Now Mayfield tried to do his thing, but it was deflating. Now I think that this is the end of the Commanders' road because they face a tall task next week, as they will have to go up against the big dogs, Detroit Lions in Detroit, and that is not going to be pleasant for the Detroit fans. I think that's going to be a I don't know if the Commanders are able to defeat the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Wow, that would be a major upset. That would be a major upset. I don't know if I see things going that way. The hard-hitting Eagles force a big turnover on the game's first play, and they punished the Packers. It was a defensive struggle throughout the Eagles' 22-10 win over the Green Bay Packers. But as I said, the tone was set on the game's first play. I don't know anybody that thought that the Packers were going to beat the Eagles. Yeah, I don't know. Did anybody think that? Well, maybe the Green Bay fans did. The Texans make the necessary plays to come out on top of an ugly and just a flat out weird game. Sometimes the NFL playoffs are strange. And the Chargers started out like good, I guess, but they couldn't get into the end zone, and it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. But at the end of the day, the final score 32-12 in favor of Houston, and the Texans will take on the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round next weekend. I don't know about that. So Josh Allen, who folks are, talking about MVP, is going to go up against my Baltimore Ravens. They were victorious in their matchup. So that was good. We're going to see the result of tonight's game and really have things set for the wild card. So there is a game that's going to be going on by the time we get off air, and we're going to see what happens there. So Washington victorious, Baltimore victorious, the Texans victorious, the Eagles victorious. No surprises there. Texans, I like the Texans. I think that the Texans are a team to watch. I think that Buffalo, has had a good run, but I think that this is over. And when we get up there, we are going to put all of the we're going to answer all of the questions, and we're going to put all of the doubters to rest. We're going to put all of the doubters to rest. Baltimore is going to be victorious. Moving on, definitely let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section, or djdiamondk@gmail.com. The former Los Angeles Sparks star, Liz Cambage, reveals that she made more money after starting her OnlyFans page than her entire basketball career. I thought that was interesting. There's always been this talk about they're not paying the ladies enough money. And we've seen, ladies having to go do different things, play for other leagues and all of that during the off season to keep up with their lifestyle. But a 4-time All-Star ended her playing in 2022 after mutually parting ways with the Sparks. Cambage signed a 1-year deal for $170K in February of that year, 2022, before exploring other opportunities. The Australian center joined a group in Israel and her current team. And then she additionally turned to OnlyFans, where her financial success went beyond her WNBA wages. She has reportedly earned more in her first week on OnlyFans than she did in all her years on the basketball court. She said that she made $1.5 million her first week on OnlyFans. Wow, she is she's doing it. So shout out to her. If you wanna check her out, you can do that. OnlyFans is paying her that money. She wants her money. She wants her money. I could believe it. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to see different things, and she's a tall woman, and when she put her makeup on and do her thing. She's a tall lady. She's a tall. She's like 6'9". Well, she's a tall lady. Speaking of tall women, my girl Thee Stallion. Her restraining order against Tory Lanez has been extended to 2030. A lot of folks are saying, what does she have a restraining order for him for? A lot of folks are saying that. Now, the Canadian rapper Daystar Peterson is behind bars. He's in California, and Thee Stallion is still concerned. She's still concerned. A lot of folks online talking greasy. They don't understand why she has been granted a restraining order for the jailed Tory Lanez. But the Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Richard Bloom said last week and granted Thee Stallion's request for the protective order after she alleged that Tory Lanez is still harassing her from prison through surrogates as he serves a 10-year sentence for shooting her in the foot. We've been seeing different things said. This order has been granted after a hearing. There was testimony. The judge made a decision. Folks need to understand that there is a clear threat that the court recognized. Tory Lanez's attorney wrote an objection to the restraining order request that his client's incarceration means there is no longer any form of current or future threat. I don't know about that. To Meg, and there has been no direct contact between the two recently. And she did not allege that there was. What she alleged is that he had been harassing her through surrogates while he's in prison. And so for him to harass her through surrogates, he does not have to have actual contact with her. A summary of the hearing said Bloom found that Meg's lawyers had met the burden of proof to extend a temporary restraining order until January 9, 2030. So Meg obtained a temporary order in November after alleging that Tory Lanez is using third parties to continue to harass her online. we have been seeing the results of the harassment online. When they start talking about she's lying and different bloggers are saying different things and posting stuff, there have been all kind of things said and done online. And so if you remember, in December of 2022, Tory Lanez was convicted of 3 felonies: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. A judge rejected a motion for a new trial from Tory Lanez's attorneys, who are appealing his conviction. Meg is 29, Tory Lanez is 32. And, it's an unfortunate situation. I don't like to see anyone in jail. But according to the judge, this is where he should be. If he did shoot Meg Thee Stallion, she was grazed. When Donald Trump was grazed with bullets, his supporters were going crazy for him. And Meg has been grazed as well. So that restraining order extended until 2030. And hopefully the harassment will end and they don't have to do another extension on that. Since we're talking about court and attorneys and all of that kind of stuff, we have to talk about Jay-Z, who has filed a motion to dismiss the assault lawsuit. The lawsuit was originally filed by a woman who alleged that Diddy and JAY-Z assaulted her when she was 13 years old. I would say that it has been kind of 50-50 out there. Some folks think that Jay-Z was guilty of this, but I think that, that's just some people that just don't like him, right? But this, we haven't seen any evidence, and of course we haven't seen evidence of Diddy assaulting this lady as well. But Jay-Z has officially filed a motion to dismiss the ongoing lawsuit previously filed against him by a woman who says that back in 2000, when she was 13, Diddy and Jay-Z assaulted her. Earlier, Jay-Z received permission from the United States judge Annalisa Torres to file this new motion. Variety reported after viewing the request that Jay-Z cited major inconsistencies in the woman's account. And the rapper's attorney has cited the Jane Doe accuser's interview with NBC News last month, where she admitted that she had some mistakes when retelling her story. While Judge Torres ruled that the accuser is able to remain anonymous in the case, she had previously condemned Jay-Z's attorney's relentless filing of combative motions containing some inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks on the accuser's attorney. And so there was that. But this new motion to dismiss has Jay-Z and his team requesting a monetary sanction or fee award against the attorney and his law firm for alleging facts without a sufficient investigation, or by failing to withdraw those allegations once it was clear that they were false or exceedingly unlikely to be true. So Jay-Z's attorneys doing what they paid to do, and I think that at least for me, it doesn't seem like Jay-Z did this. I don't know why he was added to this. I don't know why this Jane Doe is looping him in. She doesn't have all the facts. If this happened to her, she should have the facts. That's why is she having inconsistencies? A lot of things going on. Kind of interesting here. We'll continue to follow this. Jay-Z's day in court is maybe approaching. Maybe it's going to end. Diddy's seems to be approaching, though. Diddy's day in court seems to be approaching. And last thing before we get out of here, Billboard's biggest rappers of the century list. They had this top 10 list, the biggest rappers of the century. And this list has led to some intense debates. Not sure why. This is a list that is based on chart results. There's no debate. I mean, it either is or it isn't. It's one of those simple things that is based on the numbers. All right, the numbers. And when you look at it from that standpoint, I mean, Drake is number one on this list. The 2000s have been probably one of the most competitive eras in hip hop. You can obviously make an argument for the 90s and the 2010s as well. But the numbers don't lie. So if you look at this list, Billboard has gone ahead and attempted to provide their top 10 biggest rappers of the century. And some folks are not feeling their list for whatever reason. But their rankings, if we go into the top 5, we can see Drake, Eminem, Kanye West, Nelly, and Jay-Z rounding out that top 5. Jay-Z being number 5, Nelly being number 4, Kanye number 3, Eminem number 2, and Drizzy Drake number 1. This is based on chart placement. Now, rounding out the top 10, Lil Wayne at number 6, 50 Cent at number 7, Kendrick Lamar at number 8, Nicki Minaj number 9, Ludacris number 10. All of y'all that was thinking this and thinking that, the numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. So the data was taken from January 1st, 2000 to December 28th, 2024. And if you keep that in mind, it should be no surprise that Drake landed at number 1, especially due to his 13 Hot 100 number 1 singles and 13 Hot 200 number 1 albums. So you have that. Folks can say what they want, debate. But as I said, numbers don't lie. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok for now. At The Diamond K Show, of course, on Threads and Blue Sky. I am at The Diamond K Show. Need to get in touch with me, very easy, djdiamondk@gmail.com. Of course, we want to thank Shantae for stopping through and talking about her businesses. You can get links to that in the description and all of that. I'll be back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. Need to get in touch with me. Like I said, djdiamondk@gmail.com. Make sure you support independent media via Cash App. That is The Diamond K Show. Via paypal.me/radio on fire. thediamondkshow.com. Got a lot more to say, and we got a lot more topics to get into, and we will do that tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Anywhere you get your podcast, just search The Diamond K Show. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe at youtube.com/DJ Diamond K.